Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. In today's video we're going to be reviewing some eyeshadow palettes from a brand that I've never heard before they contacted me, so I'm very excited to tell you a bit more about them because I'm pretty sure most of you haven't heard about them either. The brand is called Sebeiti Cosmetics, and I'm gonna link their website and every single eyeshadow palette we talk about today down below. They only have a couple of products so far, which I actually quite appreciate because I rather these new companies take time to develop products instead of putting out loads of them in the same time. So far you can only purchase one foundation, a couple of different blushes, quite a few eyeshadow palettes and some lipsticks from them. And they asked me to basically pick whatever product I would like to review from their website. And I picked this little collection of eyeshadow palettes because they looked quite interesting. I really liked the color story of them, and I will be honest with you, I'm very positively surprised about the quality I received, because when I first received them I didn't think that much of them until I actually started creating some eyeshadow looks and swatched them on my arm, and they turned out to be really good, so I really wanted to talk to you guys about them. Now, the structure of today's video is going to be basically two parts. First, I'm gonna talk about this eyeshadow palette. I will tell you all the information there is to know, and then I'm gonna put some music on and I will show you three eyeshadow looks I created with the three palettes. So first, let's jump right into everything we know about the palettes. So once again, there are three of them and they all have 9 shades inside. The full size of these palettes is $34.49, which is quite expensive for such a small palette, but they normally run some sorts of discount. So for example, right now they are $26.90 instead, plus you can get a further up to 35% off depending on how much you spend on their website. So if you add up all the different discounts you can get, they will actually cost you around $18 to $20, which I think is a quite decent price. They all come with an outer paper packaging that looks exactly the same as the actual palette, and the ingredient list can be found on the back of these slips. On the back of the actual palettes, all you have is the numbers of each shades, and they mark which shade shouldn't be used directly next to the eye. Those are normally the glitter shades, which of course you should be careful with. All of these palettes have 12 months shelf life, which is quite normal. I think is because of all the glitters and shimmery shades. I would use them longer than that as long as you don't notice any difference in performance. These two palettes contain 1.3 grams of product, and this palette contains 1.5 gram of product, which is not a lot at all. If you think about Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes, they contain about 8-9 grams of product. If you think about something like the Huda Beauty palettes, they have about 18 grams. And then you have some gigantic palettes like the Natasha Denona ones that contain almost 38 grams of product. So 1.3 grams is really not a lot. I'm not sure how long they will last. Just as a comparison, size-wise, this is a Juvia's Place Zulu palette, and these are the pen sizes inside that. And then you have a Sebeiti palette next to it. As you can see, they are a lot smaller than a Juvia's Place palette. So let's have a look at each of these palettes, starting with the Be in Love palette. In my opinion, this is a very autumn-colored palette, except the center shade, which really reminds me of mermaids, and it does complement the green shades in the palette very well. But what I really like about this palette is that it's really versatile. Despite only having 9 shades inside, you can combine these shades loads of different ways and you will get completely different looks. You can, for example, use the top row and create a very orangey and yellowy autumn look. You can use the center row and create something very green, something very like mermaidy. And then you have the bottom row with all of these darker shades that again very nicely complement each other. But you could completely twist it and use this mustardy brown shade with this purple shade and the glitter one from the middle. So they can be used loads of different ways and you will get completely different looks. I could also really see myself using the yellow one with the purple. That would be beautiful as well. So I really like the color story of this palette. And when I worked with the glitter shade in the middle, I was very positively surprised because it looked amazing as a topper on top of another shade. The next one to talk about is the Be Free palette. This one has more shimmers than the previous one did. It has this gorgeous blue shade, which is one of my favorites in all three palettes. It has this absolutely beautiful light green shimmery shade. It also has this orangey gold shade, which actually performs really well despite how it appears to be in the pan. And the star of the show is definitely, again in the middle, this pressed glitter, which contains star-shaped glitters as well. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm just in love with it. It looks beautiful as a topper shade on top of any other shade in this palette or any of the other palettes. Huda should really learn from Sebeiti how to do pressed glitters. On the bottom row you have a brown, a green and a blue dark shade, so depending on what kind of a look you're going for, you have loads of different options to darken up certain areas, which I really appreciate because I hate when you don't have a good dark shade in a palette. For me, it just feels incomplete. I don't really know what to do in that situation. And you also get a gorgeous bone shade and medium brown shade, so you can pretty much use those to prep any eye look. And yeah, this palette is again one that can be used a lot of different ways, and despite only getting 9 shades, you have so many different looks to create. And the last one to talk about is called Be Yourself, and that is actually the eyeshadow palette I'm wearing on my eye today. This was actually the palette that made me decide to pick up this collection of eyeshadow palettes from this brand, because I absolutely fell in love with this bluish purple shade in the middle and the purple duochrome underneath. And I don't think I was wrong. This eye makeup look I did using it turned out absolutely gorgeous. I'm really loving it. And again, this is a palette that can be used so many different ways. You have this really dark blue, which will basically complement any other shade in this palette. So you don't really need other dark shades in this palette because it will go well with the brown shades or with the bluish shades as well. Again, you have a bone color that will help you blend out any other shade or prepare the area. You have this rusty reddish brown shade and you have a darker version of it as well. You have a gorgeous white gold shade. I absolutely love this palette. This is a palette I could totally take with me on a holiday and create so many different looks using it. And I don't know why, but out of the 3, I think this is the most Christmassy, at least for me. I really love this palette. Before I show you the eye makeup looks I created using these palettes, I'm gonna very quickly show you the swatches I did. This is gonna be a bit of a closer look than I normally do because, as I said, there's not that many shades in this eyeshadow palette, so you will have a closer look to each shade than you normally do. As you can see, the color payoff is absolutely amazing, and these shades look so much better when you swatch them than they do in the palette. When I first received these palettes, I was not underwhelmed but a little bit uninspired, but once I swatched them on my arm, I just saw it all coming together and I imagined all these amazing eyeshadow looks I'm gonna create using them. And that's why I like eyeshadow palettes so much, because it really brings out your creative side and really lets you be an artist. I absolutely love creating eyeshadow looks, and these palettes really inspired me, so I'm gonna play with them more for sure. Once again, before we jump into the part where I show you the eyeshadow looks I created using these palettes, all the links to the palettes will be down in the description of this video. And without further ado, let's jump right into the looks I created using them.
Try to let go of all of the nonsense that you put me through. I give it up to you, I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited, you wanna hold me close, but I know what you have to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to you, come to you. You're mine, mine, mine. It's right, right, right. It's right, 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 right now. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to you, come to you. You're mine, mine, mine. It's right, right, right. It's right, 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 right now. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to you, come to you. I try to let go of all of the nonsense that you put me through. I give it up to you, I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited, you wanna hold me close, but I know what you have to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to you, come to you. You're mine, mine, mine. It's right, right, right. It's right, 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 right now. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to you, come to you. You're mine, mine, mine. It's right, right, right. It's right, 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 right now. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do?
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy, but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Alright, so that's it for today, guys. I really hope you liked the 3 looks I created using these palettes. I had a lot of fun doing them. If you're interested in purchasing them, you will find a link down below to their website and every single eyeshadow palette in the description of this video. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I would love to have you here. And until next time, take care of yourself. I will see you very soon. Bye.